Welcome to the Goalbusters Expert Peak Productivity Tips podcast, where top business experts get just 7 minutes to answer 5 rapid-fire questions about what they do and how they stay productive. Each episode is packed with actionable insights to help boost your efficiency and achieve your goals. Let's dive in and unlock the secrets to peak performance.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Robin J. Emden, and I'm an accountability coach and author of Get Resultsology, the science of getting stuff done. I work with people who run their own business, no boss, distractions everywhere, and never enough hours in the day. Together, we cut through the noise, sharpen their focus, and follow through on the big ideas that actually move the needle. That's what I call the momentum formula. Do it today, profit tomorrow, and repeat. So if that's the kind of breakthrough that you are looking for, then you're in exactly the right place. And speaking of being in exactly the right place, I am delighted to welcome Julie Voris. Julie is a mindset plus habits coach who helps women stop playing small and start living with purpose, power, and unapologetic truth. A former high school English teacher turned fitness pro, Julie built her business from the ground up, inspiring thousands through her signature True Love message. Julie empowers women to harness habits for greater impact and income while modeling bold living for their families. Now living her dream in Walt Disney World with her husband, Julie travels often to see their 3 daughters and never misses a chance to browse a local bookstore. And I'm just wondering if the 3 daughters are in the 3 kingdoms that she travels to, but I don't think that's what that meant. Julie, welcome to Goalbusters.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And we've already established that you live in Florida, in the Magic Kingdom, near the Magic Kingdom, but in Disney World itself, in Disney World Park, as it were, in itself. What time of day is it for you there?
It is about 1:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's about 95 degrees here in the most magical place on earth. So it is sunny, it is magical, and I am so happy to be here.
And I bet you are. And I'm going to ask you now if we should start the clock. Otherwise, I will disappear down the rabbit hole and spend the whole of our
I know, we
podcast
could talk
talking
about Disney forever. I know. Yes.
Definitely.
I'm ready.
So let's start the clock. And there it goes. Julie, could you tell me, please, who is your ideal client?
My ideal client is a midlife woman who feels like something is missing, knows that something is missing, but isn't quite sure what that is. She wants a little bit more alignment. She wants a little bit more energy, maybe a little bit more joy, but again, doesn't want to be overwhelmed. There's a lot of noise in the world. She doesn't want more of that. She doesn't want something that's complicated. She wants it to be simple and she wants it to be sustainable. She's usually the North Star for her family, but she's now starting to ask herself, what about me? And what do I want?
Perfect. And can we expand on that by diving a little bit deeper into some of the problems or just a problem that you solve?
You know, very often women put themselves last on their list. And as they become mothers, if that's part of their journey or if they're in their career, wherever they are, they very often lose themselves in those pieces of identity. And they forget that they are human being people also with goals and dreams. Women are often sold what I call extremes, like it must be a 10-step morning routine, or they have to make their own green powder and all of that. And I just really believe that wellness is not that complicated. It's not that deep, and that we can rewrite what wellness looks like, especially for midlife women who maybe haven't had conversations around what wellness feels and looks like for them now in this season of life, where they may have the time to take better care of themselves.
Perfect. Okay, that's very clear. Thank you very much. So what is one valuable free action that our audience can implement that will help them to take care of themselves, to help them to solve that problem?
Well, again, I think women in general, humans, all of us, but women especially, tend to overcomplicate how we can feel better because of all the noise that is in society. No matter where you live, whether you live in Disney or someplace else, there's a lot of noise out there. And there's a lot of noise, particularly in the wellness space. And I think that one habit you can take is to not hit your snooze in the morning when your alarm goes off. Or maybe it's a walk every day for 20 minutes. Or maybe it's, you can really insert anything that works for you, but what you're looking for is one anchor, one consistent energy habit that you can commit to, because here's what's absolutely true. When it's simple, we can be consistent. When we're consistent, we get results. When we overcomplicate something, we're never going to stick with it. So when you're talking about a free action, it costs you nothing to not hit snooze on your alarm when it goes off. It costs you nothing to go out and take a 15-minute walk and get outside. It costs you nothing to drink a little bit more water, but those little energy anchors might help you make better decisions the rest of the day. So the more simple, the better. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing's perfect. Just start messy, start small. And before you know it, you'll start stacking habits that actually help you feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you said it costs nothing when you hit the snooze button, but I think and it's a very small price to pay. If you struggle with it, go to bed earlier.
Go to bed earlier. Yes.
You don't normally work right up till the time you go to bed anyway. I know I can't do that because I would never get to sleep. My head would be so full of stuff. So just go to bed a little bit earlier. All right. Here ends my rant. So now that we have a better understanding of what you do, let's dive into goal busting, which is focusing on how to maximize productive time to achieve business goals. So, Julie, could you share any tips or advice for someone looking to improve their productivity habits?
Well, again, I'm speaking primarily to women, and women have a tendency to overestimate what we can get done in a day, overestimate what should be on our plate in a day and what we can get done in a day, but we underestimate what we can actually do with our lives. And what I want women to start thinking is, how do I connect what I do every day to what I actually want my life to look like? Do I want my life to just be consumed by carpools and lunches and to-do lists and laundry and all of that? Or do I want my life to actually be working towards my goal, my dream, the vision that I have for my life? So can we start to anchor our day with habits around who we want to become, not just what we want to do, not to have some sort of Olympic-sized to-do list? It's real easy for women to fall into that. I want women to get a little bit more present, a little bit more still, maybe tune out the noise a little bit, and really start connecting what we do every single day with what we want to do in our life. I know that's easier said than done, but I do think that it's simpler than what we might think it is.
Yeah, I love that. And whilst I want to very much honor the audience that you speak to, women, this is one guy that also frequently overestimates what I can do, not just in a day, but maybe in a year. But I grossly underestimate what I can achieve in 5 days or 5 years. So I
our
think
potential.
I think it's a universal thing, but I know that you're speaking specifically to women who do definitely have very different days to men in general, especially when there's family involved.
Yes, yes.
All right. So, and I'm not an expert on that because I'm not a woman. So I'm going to change the subject before I get into trouble. All right. So finally, could you tell us, what should I have asked you today that I didn't? And also your answer, please, Julie.
You could have asked me, what does wellness really look like? What could it look like in midlife? Because I think that's really the core of what I do. What's it look like when you're in transition? What's it look like when you are not 20 years old anymore? What's it look like when you are recalibrating some of your identity, when you are shifting from one identity to another? And again, I think women especially have been sold a wellness that has to be loud, it has to be extreme, it has to be vibey, it has to look good on Instagram, it has to be performative. But in midlife, wellness can and should look different. It might be a little quieter, it might be a little simpler. It's probably more personal because each of us are on a kind of different journey. We're in different seasons at different times in our life. And I want women to just trust themselves a little bit more and really distill the essence of wellness down to what aligns with how they want to feel, not what the press or the media or social media tells them how they should feel or what they should be doing. How do they want to feel?
Yeah, absolutely. And I always think it amuses me when, I'm generalizing massively here, and I must stress I'm generalizing, but it amuses me greatly when you get 20-something-year-olds talking about healthy eating, healthy living. And it's like, have you heard of genetics? Have you heard about your age? You're supposed to be healthy at that age. The generalization is not everybody is healthy at that age, of course, for any
Right.
number of reasons, including genetics. But generally speaking, if I want advice from people that are healthy, I want people my age, older, middle aged, people that
Right.
have lived a bit and have discovered how to stay healthy. And even then, genetics plays its part.
Right.
But it just amuses me when you get these social media influencers. They're 25 and they're super fit and they're super beautiful. And I think you could live on McDonald's every day and you'd probably still look that way for another 5 or 10 years before it really
Right,
starts to take
right,
its toll.
right. This season of life is it's just very different. And we're finally having conversations around this season of life a little bit more openly, for which I'm grateful. But I think a lot of women think that when they're shifting identities, they're the only ones that are going through that. And so the more
Yes.
we talk about it and the more we open the conversation, the more women, men, humans understand that there's a lot to the human experience that is very connected to all of us. And the more we talk about it, the more we can help each other.
Yeah, and although I'm extending it a little bit, I think it's an important point to make. If you're going through it, you're not the only one.
You're not the only one. No.
There's plenty that, I always say when, are there any questions? And you're worried about, you're in a room and there's a lecture, are there any questions? And you're scared about asking us what you think might be a stupid question. And afterwards, there's always someone comes up to you, oh, thank goodness that you asked that question. I had the same. Of course, there's always somebody. All right. So I've taken up too much of our time, and I still have a very important question to ask you, Julie, which is a two-parter. How can people reach you? And also, is there like a valuable free resource they can get from you as well, which I always say is a little bit cheeky to ask for it, but actually I'm serving and I'm serving you and serving our audience, because it's a really cool way of making some kind of connection with you and getting through the initial, how do I find out more about this person? Because I might be a little bit embarrassed at first to just contact them directly.
Well, that's one of the cool things about technology, I think, in 2025, is we get to connect and meet and hang out with and be in community with people that we might never meet in real life. And I think that's pretty cool. So I love Instagram. I know there's a lot of negativity around social media, but I really enjoy Instagram for that very reason. I get to connect with and meet and have conversations with people all over the world that I may never meet in real life. So you can find me just at Julie Voris on Instagram. And then, of course, my website is julievoris.com. And the free, valuable resource that I have is I'm trying something new. So this is actually the first time I'm sharing it with you. I'm trying what's called a private podcast. And as much as I love social media, we know that sometimes social media can be a little dicey and sometimes can feel a little, I don't know, the comments are just a little bit like out of left field, and when we're having conversations, we really want to have conversations with people who want to be in that conversation with us. So I'm trying this private podcast, which is really about kind of my journey over the last year or so and transitioning into midlife and all the things. And I feel like the people that kind of raise their hand figuratively to join this private podcast are people who actually want to be in that conversation. So I will send you the link to that. And if that's interesting to anyone who's listening to this and you want to kind of continue the conversation, I think that'd be a really fun way to do it.
And we can share that link, yes?
Absolutely, yes.
All right, so already while you're speaking, then it will have appeared for people watching this on YouTube, it will have appeared on the screen. And for people listening to it, if you go back to our main page where we host the video and the podcast, the URL is there prominently displayed. And that's a lovely idea. I mean, I think the word I was thinking of when you were talking about some of the way people communicate with each other on social media, it can be brutal.
Yeah,
and when you're being vulnerable, you don't want brutal, you want empathy.
Right.
And it might be, okay, so you might be an, in quotes, attention seeker, but actually you might just genuinely want to be heard. And that's perfectly normal and acceptable. And you don't want some smart aleck being brutal about it, because that's on them, not on you. All right.
Right.
I think I understand a little bit about where you're coming from on that, and I hope I haven't misunderstood. Julie, that's been amazing. Thank you so much for doing this today. I'm still thrilled to bits about where you live, and some of my friends will be incredibly jealous. Actually, I'm a little bit envious too. And but thank you so much for doing the podcast Goalbusters with us today. It was very kind.
Oh, thank you for having me. And also, I am now going to use the word cheeky from this moment on. I'm appropriating that, and I love it. It's so fun.
People usually pick up on the amount of times I say brilliant. That's brilliant.
I like that.
Apparently that's very British, but oh yes, cheeky is our word too. So I own that. So
that's my new word.
Yeah, you can have it with my pleasure. Julie Voris, thank you so much. And please remember, everybody, keep goal busting, make your future self proud. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Goalbusters. If you're enjoying it, please subscribe, rate and review it on your favourite podcast platform. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you're ready to boost your online profits, skyrocket your productivity, crush procrastination, and see a positive change in your bank balance, all within just 30 days, this is your opportunity. Take my free 5-day challenge at www.skyrocketyourproductivitychallenge.com.